होप सभी को स्क्रीन विजिबल होगी। कोई कंफर्म कर देगा एक बार? मेरी आवाज़ आ रही है
यस
और
सर।
स्क्रीन विजिबल है?
यस
ठीक
सर।
है। सो कल हम लोगों ने जावा का बेसिक ओवरव्यू वगैरह कैप्चर किया था कि ओवरव्यू क्या है, हिस्ट्री क्या है, और जावा में फ्यूचर अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ क्या है, प्रोग्राम को कंपाइल और रन कैसे कर सकते हैं। तो आप सभी ने बेसिक प्रोग्राम कंपाइल करके देखा? ठीक है, तो मतलब आई होप सबने रन कर लिया होगा। कोई भी इशू आए तो आप पूछ सकते हो डायरेक्टली अनम्यूट करके। अब हम लोग आज अंडरस्टैंड करते हैं आगे का पार्ट कि आगे क्या क्या चीज़ें हैं जिसमें हम बेसिकली प्रोग्रामिंग ही स्टार्ट करेंगे। प्रोग्रामिंग में क्या क्या हम लोग इम्प्लीमेंट कर सकते हैं, कैसे छोटे छोटे प्रोग्राम बना के धीरे धीरे प्रोग्रामिंग में इन्वॉल्व हो सकते हैं। सो लेट्स स्टार्ट विद द ऑब्जेक्ट ओरिएंटेड प्रोग्रामिंग कंसेप्ट्स। सो जैसे एब्स्ट्रैक्शन एंड एनकैप्सुलेशन होता है। सो एनकैप्सुलेशन क्या होता है? मतलब ओके, इफ सम मतलब एवरीवन इज कंफर्टेबल इन हिंदी और इंग्लिश? शुड आई स्टार्ट इन इंग्लिश और हिंदी? Okay, so let's start with the encapsulation. Encapsulation is a mechanism that binds together code and data. It is like creating a capsule, right? In real world, what is a capsule? Capsule is something that you know कि take it for these things, but you don't know कि what is inside that capsule, right? It is like example of automobile. If you look into the car, you know car is, there is engine, there is brake, there is a lever, there is a lot of things that is going into a car engine to how to drive a car, but everything was covered, right? So this is the concept of encapsulation, कि you cover everything that is not necessary to users to know. User should know. Abstraction and encapsulation is part of each other. So abstraction is like if user wants to know what is the speed of a car, what is the mileage of a car, the brake, the speed clutch and the gear and the steering wheel, these are the part of the abstraction, and everything that is covered, that is part of the encapsulation. So abstraction is something if user needs, it is necessary for user to know, it should be visible to the user, that is abstraction. And if it is not necessary to see the user, it should be covered into a capsule format. That's what encapsulation is all about. So we will understand these concepts a little bit later. This is the basic overview. So encapsulation is like, again, you cover it into a class. There is a class, there is a data member, there is a method, functions. So these all members of data and functions, they all are encapsulated into a class. So again, so what is a class? Class is a combination of lot of things, variables, functions, and you declare those public, private, etc. If we go into inheritance, so inheritance, again, the concept of normal life. So we initially discussed the object oriented programming is real life examples, right? Real life programming. So what is an inheritance? So we inherit a lot of things from our parents, like, so we inherit the basic features of humankind. If we'll see, there is a class known as human. What is a human? How we define a human? Human is something who has a two legs, two hands, two eyes. Basic feature of human is these. So we inherit those things, then we will replicate our own features into a different way. So again, there's one more example. If there's a class like animal, then there's a two subclasses. One is mammal, one is reptile. In mammal there is canine and feline. Then in canine there is a domesticus and lupus. Then retriever and poodle, right? So if we'll go into an animal class, there is a dog, there is a cat. They both have four legs, they both eat, they both sleep, right? But dog has their own features, cat has their own features, but both inherit this super class called animal. So these are the basic examples of inheritance. Then how we are going to use it? Inheritance has itself a whole chapter into Java. Then there is a polymorphism. Last day we discussed six things: class, objects, abstraction, encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism, right? So polymorphism is like showing in different form into different places, like You can be a human being, but you are showing a different form at different places. Like for your parents you are a son or you are a daughter, for someone else you are a friend, for someone you are a student, for someone you are a teacher, right? So only one human being shows different features, different behavior at different places. That's called the polymorphism. It's a Greek word, it means many forms. So these are the basic concepts that we are going to learn in object oriented programming. Let's start with the basic Java programming, how to create basic programs. So initially, if you will see yesterday what we learned a program that is known as, give me a second. So we have made a program called first Java demo yesterday, right? So this was the basic program that we created yesterday, and we compiled it and executed it. Now if we'll go ahead, there is a lot of things we need to learn. Okay, how to write the names again, what type of name we can use for a class, for variables, etc. So these are the white spaces. When we'll type, so these are the white spaces in between every word, right? Invalid identifier name include this. There is no class that should start with a number, or we can use the hyphen or oblique words. So now we'll discuss literals. What is a literal? In classes or in programming world, there are programs where we need to take input from the users, right? So if I am going to make a calculator, right? So user going to input key, please add two numbers 100 plus 200, right? So when I am going to take input from user, how I am going to save it into a programming language, and how I am going to execute that functionality, then showing him the result. So this is the part of that. So literals are constants like 100, 98, x. This is the test. So this is a integer literal, this is a string literal. So literals are like constants, they can't change. So again, these are the basic thing that we have used yesterday. If we are going to look at, these are the parentheses. So this we can use at a functions. These are the braces we use to close and end a class or a function. These are the brackets round. These brackets are used at a array and different places. Then there is a semicolon. This is going to terminate a statement. We are going to use in every line whenever we are. And there is a comma, there is a period, there is a colon. So there is a different things that we can use in programming language. Now we'll start with variables and data types. Now, what is primitive type? There is a floating type, there is a character and boolean. So in primitive type there is an integer. So integers are divided into byte, short. Floatings are like pointed variables, decimal point variables, right? Characters are like single characters, and booleans are, that is true and false only. I'll show you the example, right? So integers are long, int, short and byte, right? So this is the width, this is the size, 8 byte, 16, 32 and 64 bit, right? And this is the range. So if I am going to create a variable of byte, it can store from value minus 128 to 127. Then short, from 32,768 minus to 32,767 positive. So these are the ranges of a variable. Again, other than integer, so integer, if I am going to declare an integer variable, it is like int a. Here int is a data type of variable a. So a is a user defined name. So a is created by me, whose data type is int, or int data. The data type int is going to store integer values. So integer values is 0, 10. It is not going to store point values or decimal values or character values. So for point values or decimal values, we are going to use floating types. Okay, so there is two type of floating variables, that is double and float. So float is 32 bits and double is 64 bit. Like I'm going to declare a variable called a, that is data type is double, and I'm going to store into is 10.25. Now again I declared one more variable double a, and a is equal to 10.25. If I'm going to divide this into two steps, so first step is declaration like int a or double a, this is the part of declaration, then assigning the value to the a. Now 10.25 is stored into a, so whenever I am going to call a, it is going to return me 10.25, right? Now character, so character is like J, A, B, C, D, F. Alphabets are the character, single characters. So single characters are like I'm going to declare it with char A is equal to J. Now J is stored into A. So whenever I'm going to use A, it is like J. But in Java, it is stored as a ASCII values. If you are doing BTech, BC or MCA, you need to understand that there is an ASCII value or everything. So ASCII values still range from 0 to 127, and it is extended to 8-bit character set, right? So there is a lot of from small a to capital A to all things are stored into ASCII values into character variables. You can search the ASCII values of everything onto Google. I'll show you. So ASCII values is important. If you are going to go into any what to say courses like BTech, BC and MCA, it is important to replicate over there. So ASCII values A to Z, right? So you are going to find these. So this is the ASCII table. So like for capital A, it is, and then there is a small a. So you are going to read these ASCII tables from these. So if you are going to print Z ASCII value, so Z as ASCII value is 90, right? So this is the basic example ki what are the ASCII values. It is the American standard. So now there is two more type. One is Boolean. So Boolean is like logical variables. We are going to store only two things into Boolean, that is true or false, right? Now, what is variable? So variable is a form to store constants. So we are going to take input from user and going to store into an variables, and variable should be some data type. Maybe primitive is like integer, decimal, floating or character or boolean, right? And if we are going to use multiple variable like integer, float, they should be compatible, right? And there should be a typecasting. So if I am going to store an integer value into a byte, it should be converted because a byte is 6 byte, like I'm going to show you. So what is typecasting? Typecasting is one is automatic, that happens like if you are going to store a byte value into an integer, it going to change automatically. Why? Byte has a 8-bit and integer has a 32-bit. So 32-bit can easily store 8-bit variable, right? But if I'm going to store an integer value into a byte, it should be converted manually. It should be typecasted manually like this. So int is a and I'm going to store 10 value into a, then I have to typecast as a round bracket and byte. I'm going to show you example of this. So there is one more thing before going to programming. If we will love to take input from user, we have to use a scanner class that is already into packages. So we have to import it. Then we have to use scanner class, create a scanner class object called sc or anything else. Then we can use next int or next char to store those values. So now we are going to code about this thing. So till now, any questions? Okay. So now I'm going to show you ki take input from the user and print it, or create two numbers and do basic mathematics with them. So class demo2, again public static void main string args. So if I am going to create a variable like int, where is the name of my variable, or I am going to store into 10. Now whenever I am going to use it, variable is equal to, and I have to put it like plus directly where, or this. So we have learned yesterday कि we have to save with the same name of a class demo to Java. Now there will be an error when we are going to execute it. I'm going to show you. There is few things we didn't do, like we didn't declare the class public. This is a basic thing that we need to do, otherwise there will be an error. So now we are into Java 07 folder. So we have to again compile the file with Java C demo 2.java. When we enter, it's going to show us the error. So what's the error? One, class is a capital letter, but it should be declared into smaller. Then there are different errors. Why? Because we didn't declare it public. So class should be C smaller and then public. So anyone has any query, you can unmute in and ask anytime. So now it's just a practical session till end. So no error came out, means file is compiled. And if we'll go into the folder Java 07 demo2.class file is also created. Now Java demo2 and enter. It's going to print variable is equal to 10. So this is the same thing we wanted. Now program has shown us the same thing. Now what we have to do? So with this, again I can create a byte. Byte is double A, and I'm going to store into it is 8, and I'm going to print. So if we like where is equal to double A, can anyone tell me what will be the result? The result, what will print into result, 10 or 8? No, I appreciate anyone knows it. They can unmute and they can answer. It is good to create an interactive class so that you can question, I can answer, or I can question, you can answer. Nobody is going to don't feel bad कि what others will think. So result will be 10. I am going to compile it. The result will be 8, sorry, because double A is stored into var. Now if I'll try to do it into a different way, means double A equal to var, it becomes an issue, because that time a smaller size variable is going into a bigger size, then it created an automatic typecasting. But now variable is 32-bit and double A is 8-bit, right? So it is going to show me some error. So if I'm going to compile it, so there is an error. Incompatible types, possible lossy conversion from int to byte. Excuse me. So means you can't store a bigger variable into a smaller variable. So we have to tell Java manually कि okay, please convert it into byte. So we have written it byte. Now this integer is going to convert into byte, then it is going to store into double A. So that's how it compiles. If you dry run any program, initially it start like it created a variable where, then it stored 10 into where, then it created another variable double A of byte, it stored A. Now in this line what we are doing, we are taking variable where's value, converting into byte and storing into double A. And if we are going to print double A, it is going to print 10 and it is converted again, compiled successfully, and variable is equal to 10 if we are printing double A. So this is the basic idea. Okay, we can use variables, we can use different variables, integer, double. Or now if I'll try कि I am going to store 10.50, it is going to show me error. Why? 10.50 is a constant that is into boolean format, sorry, into decimal format. So it should be stored into float or double. So if I am going to compile it again, it is going to show me an error. Again, incompatible types, possible loss of conversion, means a bigger variable is trying to store, and integer type never going to store in decimal values, right? So 0.50 is going to removed. So this is the way that we can do. So what we can do for decimal values, we can create one more variable like float var2, and we can store 10.50, and again we are going to print the same. If we are going to print var2, it is going to show us 10.50. We are going to compile it again. 10.5. Okay, the semicolon is missing, that's why it's shown us the error. Okay, 10 point it is by default is double value. Right, it is compiled, and if we try to execute it, it's 10 and 10.5. Now what we are going to do, we are going to make an addition. We are going to take two numbers from the user and we are going to execute it. So now we are going to stop this one, and what we were discussing initially, to take input from user. So what is the use, how to do it? Public class demo add public static void main, or we can write it in between also. So now, as we initially discussed, what we needed, we need to import a scanner class. It should be there. So when you are going to take input from user, from keyboard specifically, not from mouse. So scanner, and we have to declare a scanner class object, scanner sc, or as any name that you want to use. It is your created name because we are creating an object of scanner. Then new scanner, and we can use system.in. And now if int a, now what we can do, we can create int number one, or we can create number two, or sum. We can create three numbers. Now number one is equal to sc dot next int. So initially we can write it system dot out dot println for add enter number one. So they are going to enter number one. Then we can tell them to enter number two, enter number two, and we can store that into number two is equal to sc dot next int. So next int is a function that can take input into integer format. So next char for character. So we are going to use different functions from scanner class to take input from the user, right? So now what we will do, we will do sum is equal to num1 plus num2. So plus is an operator, additional operator. It going to create summation of these two number, and what equals to is going to do, so these two number after addition is going to store into sum. So now again system out dot println, or we are going to show this to user ki what is the sum of these two number. Sum equal to plus sum. So class name is add. So we are going to create it add.java. So now we'll go into again command prompt. What is the command for clear? Anyone knows it, or should I Google it? So CLS is the command that can help you to clear your command prompt. So again javac space add dot java. So if there is any error, it is going to show us here. So it's shown us nothing means the class is compiled properly and bytecode is generated. Now we are going to execute it. So it's shown us first thing. Anyone was messaging it. Okay. So for add, the hope screen is visible. So now it shows us for add enter number one. Now I'm going to enter 100 So 100 is going to store into number 1. Now I'm going to enter 200. Now the sum is 300. So this is the basic addition program that we are going to create. Now we can create, different things with this: plus, minus, multiply by, divide. So these are the arithmetic operator. So these are the tools that we can use to create basic program of addition, multiplication, divide and subtraction, or to create a summation also. So now we are going to make a program. So now we are trying to make a program of one thing. So we will take input five numbers, five subject numbers from the user. We are going to take a average of those number and we are going to print it. Now if number one, number two, number one, number two, number three, number 4, number 5. So we have created those all those numbers. Now for speeding purpose, paste. So as a programmer you will learn a lot of copy paste, because in future it is all about copy paste, how fast you can do it into your companies. Because in learning process it is important to learn, but when you will reach into a job where you are doing a programming, it is all about client's deadline, right? So anyone who can do things fast will be valued over there. Number 4 and number 5. And we can create one more, that is average, avg. So now if avg is equal to sum divided by 5. So if we'll divide, this is the basic formula of average. The 5 number we added, then divided by 5, it becomes the average. avg. So what we did, we declared 5 numbers, we declared 2 more for summation purpose and average purpose. Then we created the scanner class object. Then we did the scanning of number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, then number 5. We take those 5 numbers from user, then we did the summation part, we added those 5 number, and then we created the average of those 5 number. Now again CLS, then Java C and add dot Java, not class file. If there is any error, so there is no error, it is compiled properly. So he asked for number 1, so I entered hundreds, then 150, then 200, then 250, then 300. So summation is 1000 and average is 200. It is correct, right? So this is the way we are going to perform few numbers, some few calculation into programming. So this is the basic thing. Now we are going into more, that is like if else statement. So these are the known if else statement known as a decision making statements into programming. So till now anyone has any question they can ask. Okay, so what is an if else statement? So if else statement is a decision making statement. So in our life, again programming is not something that is completely different from the life, it is similar. In programming we tell machines to do something for us, right? So in normal life there is time comes that you have to choose. Like if you have done your 12th, then you have to choose ki, okay, what graduation will you do BTech, BSc, or BCA, or something else. So we have to choose between those decisions. So if we are going to train machines onto it, so the basic decision statement is if else. So there are two ways. If I have to go left, like in normal life, if I'm driving, right, there is a two way. One is left or one is right. So I have to choose between them. So if I'm going to choose left, then I'll go left. if I'm not going to choose left, I'm automatically go right. So these are the two things that we need to do. Now how we implement these things into programming, it is important. So this is the basic syntax for the if else statement. So if round bracket there is a condition, again choosing left or right, or from two statements, we need to do some conditioning. Then if this condition is true, we will execute statement 1, else we are going to execute statement 2. It is never going to happen that both statement will going to execute. If it is true, condition is true, statement 1, condition is false, statement 2, that is into else. Like an example, if there is an integer a and b, and suppose there is a some value to a, some value to b, and I created a situation, if condition where if a is smaller than b, if I'll say ki a is 10 and b is 20, right? So if a is smaller is b, in this condition it will be true, so a will be 0, so else is not going to execute. Otherwise, if b is 10 and a is 10 20, this condition is going to be false, then a is 0 is not going to execute, then b is equal to 0 is going to execute. Why? Because this condition is false. Again, I'll going to show you with uh, the basic flowchart. If you are into programming, go and learn flowchart also, and algorithms, little bit algorithms also, so it's good. So program is going to start, we are going to reach at the condition part, that is expression. So now if condition is true, so if part is going to execute, if condition is false, else part is going to execute. In any circumstances, both is not going to execute, right? Then it will go into a common path. So if statement or else statement. So like again one more example, int number is 5. If number is greater than 0, what is going to execute? The number is positive, right? If number is equal to, it should be minus 5 or minus 10, then it is not going to be true. But in this condition, if number is 5, it is only going to execute, the number is positive, the number is negative, is not going to execute. So I will discuss this into again programming. So again with this program, I'm going to show you, if average is above, what to say, mm, what should be the average. So we'll take these five numbers as a subject out of 100. So if subject's average is below 50%, it is shows fail, or it is above 50%, it is going to print pass, right? So there is a five subjects numbers out of 100. So we are going to enter all those numbers below 100. Out of 100 means there are Hindi, maybe English, maybe mathematics, and there are going to result for those five numbers. Then we are going to combine it, it shows the average to the student, and we can do the grading also, right? But for initially we will do only one thing, that is it is passed or failed. So if I am going to write this code, what I'm going to write, if you are going to make the bigger application in future, you have seen the college management system, student management system, or these days lot of schools and colleges are using IT, so that their students will be there, their attendance is on to their applications on their website ki, okay, if 75 percentage attendance is not there, they'll not going to send into exam, or this should be the basic result. So on in programming, how they do it, so they use if else statement for that purpose. So like if average is greater than 50, what it is going to do, it is going to print pass, result is pass. else result is fail. Now again we'll clear the screen. Now what we'll do, again compile the file. So there are some one error, class name. Okay, in Java C we should use .java. Okay, there is no error after that. So Java add, so subject number out of 100. So in one subject they got 80, in one subject they got 60, in one subject they got 50, in another subject got 55, or another got 60. So now sum will automatically, or average will, we can see, directly the average will be better than 50, greater than 50, so it is going to show us pass. So sum is 305, average is 61, the result is pass. Now we are going to execute it again. So this is a small program, we are going a small testing. Again, when you are going to make big programs like any application, any web application or mobile application, before delivering it to client or delivering it to end user, everyone do different testing onto their application, that it is not going to hang, it is not going to get corrupted. So in a different scenario we are going to check कि okay, if the exam is 40, 50, 30, or again 50, then what to say, 48, so the result will be below 50 and it's going to show us fail. So again the average is 43, then it checked it कि okay, result is fail. How they did it? So after calculating this, we go into if statement. It checked कि average is greater than 50, then only pass is going to execute, else statement is never going to execute. Or if it is below 50, only else statement is going to execute. So we can even, after that, it's a just normal flow of the program. We can print over here all the best for future exams, right? So what it can do, so we can check you again, 40, 80, 70, 60, 50. So average is 60, pass. Again all the best for the future exam. So we may, after executing if else statement, normal flow is maintained of a program. And if it is going to fail, again the result is fail, again all the best for future exam. So we can see after executing if else statement, the execution is simple. It is going to execute another lines that is ahead of those if else statement. Only in those statements it's going to differentiate, okay, if it is condition is true, it will execute if wala block. If it is else, it is going to execute only else block. So that is if else statement. So anyone has a question regarding this till now? Okay. So we can go into the nested if else. Like, if it is okay to everyone, like, everyone understanding what I'm talking, then we can go ahead for the if else, nested if else statement. So what is nested if else statement? We'll see. So in nested if else statement, we can use multiple if and multiple else's. So if one statement, then another if statement in between those code, then another if else. So multiple if else, nested if else is going to, and if else ladder also, the multiple if else part, right? So this is the nested ifs flow chart. Condition 1 true, then another if else, again condition, then again true or false. So if we are going to check nested if else or else if ladder, it's how the flow of program is going to be. Now I'll show you with a one more example. With the same example we can understand. Okay, now we're going to print the, what to say, the grade. If it is above 50, then it is going to check again. Okay, if it is above 80, it is A grade. It is between 50 to 80, it should be b grade, or matlab, some another grade that we can create. So now we are going to write one more if else statement in between this if else statement. If average is greater than 50, then we should check if what average is greater than 80. Now again, for a single statement we don't need to write these blocks, but multiple statement blocks are necessary. So I can print directly over here is, it is like uh, excellent, great, or else it should be good only. So excellent, good, or fail. That's the three scenario we are writing. Again, the compilation is completed successfully. When we run it now, if it is 90, 80, 90, 78, again 87. So again, sum is 425, average is 85, it is above 80, it is excellent. Now again we are going to execute it, testing the scenario. If it is below 80, 70, 60, 80, 75, 65. So again, average is 70, now it is below 80, it's shown as good. All the best for the future exams. Now the third scenario, if it is below 40, so result is fail. All the best for the future. How it executed? First is checked. Okay, average is above 50. It goes into this block. Now this block is never going to execute. In this block, it again checked condition ki if average is greater than 80, then print excellent. It is never going to print this good or this else statement. Or one more time, if we'll again execute it, if we'll go into this where the average is 70, it checked the average is greater than 50, it went into this statement, average is now 70 is greater than 80, no, it means it should go into else, then it printed good. So that's how the nested if else statement is using. Or now if you are going to use multiple lines into it, then you have to what to say, write these blocks. These should be into these blocks. Okay, so this is nested if else. Okay, how we can use multiple conditions, a condition in between a condition, and create a result. So that's how we create small program, conditional programs. We take input from the user, we do little bit of calculation, and we do decision making onto those calculations. So till now, anyone has any question? So I'm going to share the form link. Till that time, anyone has any question, you can ask me directly.